So we went and saw Night at the Museum 3. Was it Night at the Museum 3 : something something, or was it just Night at the Museum 3?
There was no colon. I think it was just Night at the Museum. Curse of... I don't know. Not music. There was a subtitle.
Anyway, I thought it was cute.
Yeah, honestly, I've got no major problems with it as a movie, which is surprising. Really surprising. I mean, it's one of those movies that was what it was. It was, for the age group it was aiming at, it was really entertaining and quite amusing. I'm really baffled that I didn't hate everything about this movie. Of course,
I'm telling you guys.
You know what? You rented them and watched them, and
I did.
And I felt obligated to watch them on my own, so I did.
I rented and watched the first Night at the Museum, the second Night at the Museum. I went back and I tried to watch the screenplay writer commentary track of the first one with Tom Lennon and Ben Garant. I had to stop it because they didn't really have much to say about screenwriting this particular movie. It was, yeah, we emailed each other back and forth. Anyway, so that's a really nice coat that Ben Stiller's wearing. I should find me a coat like that, except it wouldn't look as good on me as it does on Ben Stiller. It's my fatal flaw.
No, the first one's a passable, fun kids movie. The second one
I've got some issues with.
The second one, yeah, not nearly as good as the first one, and this one was much, much better than the second one.
Mm-hmm.
The second one,
I feel like the first one, the main point of it was, first of all, the first one was based on a book, which I learned from the screenwriter's commentary track before I turned it off. Just like a 20-page children's book, though, about a guard named Hector who worked at a museum where stuff came to life. And so, like, he'd walk the animals through the park and feed them and so forth. And so when you see a security guard asleep, it's because he's had a very long night walking all the animals. And so they basically blew it up into this big movie. And I think that the first one works because it's got, okay, yeah, it's got monkeys peeing on stuff, but it's also got some really funny parts that are all the more surprising because it's on the heels of monkeys peeing on stuff. Plus, it kind of, it does well in imparting wonder, and it's not historically accurate, but it's historically kindly accurate in the sense of like, oh, it's Teddy Roosevelt, you know, he's the 26th president of the United States and the leader of the Rough Riders, just like cramming little facts and stuff in there and just generally making museums interesting. Whereas the second one, I feel like they got some money and they're like, well, what was appealing about the first one was monkeys peeing on stuff. And so it's a lot more of that kind of humor, I feel, and less so like the wonderment and the lack of... The second one has got some pretty major glaring plot holes that I was very upset about. Well, because, like, I think that the third movie explained the plot hole in the second movie pretty well, because...
only because I think we were looking for it so
yeah,
hard.
we really were. Well, because in the first movie, when he goes back to the museum on the third night, the whole premise of the thing is that there's this tablet of Akhman-Ra, who is an Egyptian dude, and whose parents gave him this tablet so that he could live forever, and that tablet's in the museum. And so every night, when the sun goes down, all the museum exhibits come to life. The tablet is kind of like, you know, in like a playground where they've got like the rotating blocks with tic-tac-toe on them?
Yeah.
It's got like a little grid of those.
I'm sorry, the camera's doing something.
It keeps trying to find your face, I think.
It's doing it to you, too.
Is it really? I don't think it's...
Sorry to stop the reviews.
I don't think it's losing the focus. I think it's just trying to find our faces.
When we do these, we set the camera up on the dash and we flip the screen so we have the...
So we can make sure we're not getting like the Batman shadow.
Yeah. But right now, the camera is doing something that I've never seen it do before, where it's trying to find our faces, like the little square thing like on your phone and shit. And it keeps, like, finding Sarah's face, and it's looking for mine, but it's just finding my chin.
It's finding your goatee. It kind of looks like you're talking in like a block.
Yeah, it's.
I don't think that it's affecting the video, so I think we should just
No, it was just driving me crazy.
just muscle through it, and if it turns out it's like doing it on the footage, then you'll have an added bonus comedy feature. So anyway, the tablet's got these grid shape on it, and if one of the squares is flipped, so it goes, the animals don't come to life, and the exhibits don't come to life unless you flip it back.
I'm very yawny.
Well, in the second movie, he spends pretty much the entire time being chased by Hank Azaria, who's like an evil Egyptian dude, who's trying to get the tablet to use for his own nefarious purposes. Well, from the way the universe is set up in the first movie, you spend the entire time in the second movie going, just flip one of the squares, everyone will go still, and you can take all the Egyptian statues, lock them in a box, and go on with your life. Plus Joey Motorola, which I will get to in a second.
We're reviewing the third movie, not the second one, sir.
I'm so mad about Joey Motorola.
I know you are, baby. I know you are.
But this lends itself to how the second movie doesn't really care so much about facts. And that is, in the second movie, it also sets up that it brings paintings to life and pictures on the wall. So there's this part where they have, like, the tablet, and they're being chased by Al Capone and his gangsters, and they jump into that picture from after World War II where, like, the sailor's kissing the nurse lady, and they're, like, running around back there, and he's, like, talking on his phone to his son, because, of course, that fucking works, and he manages to lose his phone in the fracas. So at the very, very end of the movie, during the credit sequence, you see one of the sailor guys from inside the painting, played by Jay Baruchel for some reason.
Because why not?
Taking the phone apart, and his mom's calling him from downstairs like, Joey, come to dinner. He's like, hang on, Ma, I think I got something. She's like, Joey Motorola, you get down here right now. And I'm like, so I Googled it. I Googled Wikipedia because I wanted to make sure that Joey fucking Motorola wasn't actually the name of the guy who founded the company Motorola, and I assure you he was not. So, Joey fucking Motorola sums up my feelings about the second movie. Which brings us to the third movie.
Which was honestly... I have some issues with it, but it's more... It's really me being nitpicky.
Well, it's fun to nitpick a movie like this because it's just so preposterous and stuff that perhaps in a movie for adults they would have, fixed or explained in some way.
And that's the thing.
It's kids. Kids won't care.
Yeah, it's that, like, I have the... we don't have to see kids' movies as often as Jake does, so we don't get as angry yet. So we can just be like, yeah, it was a kids' movie, it was fine, whatever. It was way more tolerable than fucking Smurfs, whatever. But, yeah, in this one, something's going wrong with the tablet, and they figure out that the Pharaoh kid, who's in New York, his parents are on display in London.
So we're going to London.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole way that they've, like, split up and, like, this is me being nitpicky in a way. Through all three movies, the whole way that they've split up this family of Egyptians.
We got Akhman-Ra in New York.
Yeah.
We got Satman-Ra at the Smithsonian in Washington.
With the panel that the tablet obviously goes in.
Yeah, it's got, like, a big, like, tablet-shaped hole in it.
Yeah, so why is the tablet in New York, and why is it the tablet of Akhman-Ra? And then in the third one, there's the tablet...
They do sort of explain that in the third one, but we'll get to that in a second.
It was made for Akhman-Ra by his parents, so on and so forth.
Well, no, because when they're talking to Dick Van Dyke, who it turns out was alive and a child when they dug up the tablet in the first place, was saying that the expedition was like a joint expedition. So when they discovered the tomb, they split up the contents into three different sections, one of which went to the Smithsonian, one went to Chicago, or New York, sorry, and one went to London.
Well, that's
None
fine.
of them went to Egypt, but that's another...
The way it was split up is so silly to me, because it's split up so haphazardly, almost.
Divided families.
Yeah. And also, in the opening of the movie, which had a nice little appearance by Max Headroom, which was kind of fun.
Was Max Headroom there? I didn't know.
Yeah, he was the kind of the older guy with the black hat.
I thought thought he looked familiar.
That was Max Headroom.
I thought, like, for the way they kept lingering on him, I thought for sure he was going to turn out to be, like, the bad guy, but I'm like, he's old in the 1910s or what have you.
No, that's Max Headroom. But when they go down there and discover the whole family, there's only fucking 3 of them in there.
Oops. Maybe they forgot about the second one.
Yeah.
Maybe they
Yeah.
conveniently forgot about the second one. Or
Yeah.
maybe because, like, he seemed to be the less favorite son, so maybe he was, like, kind of off in a corner somewhere.
Maybe. Well, and that's... I have an issue with the way the second one ended and this one started, where
Oh, yeah.
the main character is like, they've put him in charge of the night features at the museum, where everything comes to life.
Yeah, they're just kind of like explaining it away. It's like, oh yeah, technology, isn't
It's
it great?
special effects. Like, no, it's fucking not. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I spent like the first 10 minutes of the movie going, all these people are stupid. All of these people are just willfully fucking stupid, because special effects don't fucking do this. At all.
It's the future.
No, it's not.
I found the stupidest character in this movie, honestly, to be Ben Stiller's son.
Oh, that kid was fucking annoying.
Well, because, like, it's the same kid from the first one and the second one, like, but he's all grown up. He's graduating from high school. And there's this whole kind of subplot where Ben Stiller wants him to go to college, and he's like, no, I want to be a DJ in Ibiza. Which, at the end of the movie, he's like, yeah, be a DJ in Ibiza, follow your dreams. And it's like, for me, I would have told them, sure, do what you want, but I'm not fucking bankrolling your DJ trip to Ibiza. You will be also dithwathing in Ibiza.
Yeah, no, that whole subplot with that kid just basically wanting to be a little shit.
Well, I feel like
In a
he was
kid's
also doing
movie-
like a Jonah Hill impression.
Yeah, but he wants to be a little shit, and it's a kid's movie. And so the character that, you know, the kids might be able to relate to a little bit, even though he's like 18 or so, is just a little fucking ungrateful douchebag.
I didn't find him to be a douchebag, I just found him to be really, really stupid.
Yeah.
He kept saying stuff like, Dad, you know, your energy's great, you know, I'm enjoying our connection.
Yeah, and just that kid has spent basically 10 years in this 10 years or so in this movie universe around fucking magic. So, it's understandable that he's a little nonplussed with the rest of the world. I get that completely. Mm-hmm. But I'm sorry, like, it might not be the best gig in the world, but if I was that kid, I'd be like, I want to be a fucking night guard too. Like, I'll go to school, just let me do this shit. Mm-hmm. And, like, honestly, with the opportunities that kid has had around living history...
Why would he not want to be a historian?
Exactly!
But again, like...
How would you ever fail any paper or project?
I'm not questioning his choices. They're perhaps not the choices that I would make, but, you know, by all means, live your dreams. I'm just saying that as your parent, I should not be made out to be the bad guy because I don't want to pay for you to dick around in Spain for a year.
No, yeah, well, you know, entitlement.
So, okay,
Flash,
in the
swear.
third... Just stop looking at
I
it.
can't help it.
So, in the third movie, they do a little better job of explaining the tablet, and that's that as long as the things are lined up when the sun goes down, then they can flip all the fuck they want during the night, and the people are still, you know, alive and well.
But the tablet is sick.
Yeah, it's got, the creeping fungus.
So, yeah, Ben Stiller takes his son and goes to London, and when this crate opens and the things comes to life, it turns out like half the cast from the New York Museum is stowed away in this tiny little box together.
If Jedediah and Octavius hadn't been in this movie, I would have been super peeved.
Yeah, which that I just have to say it. The best part of the second one, Steve Coogan and fucking Owen Wilson. Fantastic chemistry together.
They really do.
It's bizarre.
Them being tiny little dudes, the jokes for them would be ridiculous, unlike normal-sized people, but for them it works. Like in the first one, he's being picked up, he's like, I don't like being manhandled. It makes me feel insignificant.
It's because they're I think it's because they're so obviously having a ridiculous amount of fun just playing around together. Because it's obvious those two are the only people they're really interacting with at all while they're acting. It's
they're just
blue screen
screens.
and for a movie with pretty high effects budget, there's still parts in this where you're like, come on, guys, that's green screen.
You talking about Pompeii?
Just every time those two are interacting with bigger characters, the CG is like it's just a weird, like, you can still kind of tell it's that blue screen.
Yeah, when it's like
thing
when they're
going
trying to
on.
make them big enough that they can actually like see both characters.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you. I did enjoy the effect when like the camera will pull back and you just see like these tiny little guys waving their hands at giant guys.
But yeah, they go and they're trying to figure out how to fix the tablet, and they're in the Natural History Museum in London, and shit comes to life, and of course they're trying to get from one part of the museum to the other to get the information they need, and halfway through they meet up and team up with Lancelot, and I'm gonna fucking get into Lancelot in a second.
I think we should get into Lancelot now because
No, let's just get the fucking plot out of the way.
No, I like to stop at those
All
points in the plot.
Fucking Lancelot.
So we
Okay.
should address your issues with Lancelot, and then I want to raise an issue with Lancelot you may not have noticed.
Okay.
So they find Lancelot because
Lancelot-
they're being chased by a Triceratops, and Ben Stiller gets kind of pinned against a suit of armor, and then the suit of armor is like, "Oh, I'll handle this." Beats down the Triceratops, takes off his helmet. It's Lancelot.
It's Lancelot, who is handsome and very, very British.
Who was that playing him? Was that Bradley Cooper?
No, that was
Who-
not Bradley Cooper.
was it?
It's,
He looked familiar.
he's been in stuff, I
Google
can't
it.
remember his fucking name. But yes, he's very handsome and very, very British. And these are kids' movies, and I know it's not... Well, Lancelot, there's no real history there anyway. It's a myth, a legend, and that's fine. But still, it's... Like, everything else is like, oh, Sacagawea and Teddy Roosevelt. And they're throwing out these real facts about these characters. One, why is Lancelot in the Natural History Museum in London? Like, a history museum. Like, I guess if it's a display on myth and culture and so on, so I can kind of understand that. But, one, he shouldn't be fucking handsome. I'm sorry. Lancelot and almost all the older texts that mean a damn thing, he was not handsome. He was an ugly man. He described as being almost looking like a monkey, and that's part of the beauty and the great thing about the story of Lancelot. And two, much more important to me, he's fucking French. Lancelot's French. He's not British. Why was he fucking British?
Okay. I would like to speak to those issues, and that is, this doesn't apply to Lancelot, but a lot of the discrepancies in the other characters are explained by the fact that they're not actually those historical figures. They're wax representations
Oh,
of
and
those
I
historical
understand that.
figures. So, like, you've got Akhmun-Ra, who is extremely British, even though he's an ancient Egyptian, and it's explained because he learned his English by traveling through England as part of an exhibit. When I tried to apply those facts to Lancelot, however, I realized that my main problem is the fact that there was a full suit of armor with the faceplate down on display in some random hallway
Oh, and he's got a full handsome face underneath it.
containing a complete wax representation of the fictional character Lancelot. So either someone is being extremely thorough / extremely bored,
Or it was just a mannequin with... Well, that could explain why he was somewhat handsome, was because it could have just been like a fucking, like, stock mannequin underneath the suit of armor.
maybe like the armor just said Lancelot, and maybe that's why he picked up that identity. And like for me,
But no, he
If I was
still
gonna
should
try
have
to
been fucking French. I'm
explain
sorry.
why Lancelot would have a British accent. I mean, I don't know as much about Arthurian lore as you apparently do.
I don't know a shit ton. I know a little bit.
So I mean, he spent a great deal of time in England, so maybe he like picked up the accent.
Not as much as you would think, actually.
As far as I'm concerned, my benchmark is Joey Motorola, and Lancelot being English is like right about here.
It's one of those things that, like, honestly, it doesn't detract from the movie that much. It's just one of those things that bugs me. Mm-hmm. Also, the fact that Lancelot, helping him through the museum, he's helping him through the museum, and then suddenly he gets the idea in his brain that the tablet is the Holy Grail, so he decides to steal it and bomb off into London. Mm-hmm. Which I understand the movie has to go somewhere and has to have an idea of a villain.
Which the second he showed up, you're like, oh, okay, he's gonna turn bad.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. It's like, because they make him very, very arrogant and very kind of
dumb,
and that's another problem I had with it. Why Lancelot for that? Because Lancelot wasn't really terribly arrogant. He was very intelligent.
I think
very conflicted, but.
Yeah, I think it was that conflict that they were fixating on, because, like, the whole reason...
if nothing else, he was an honorable person, so he wouldn't have fucking done that.
He did bang some of the dude's wife.
Oh, he hated himself for it.
That's not honor, though. That's attrition. So, I think the reason they picked Lancelot was because of that conflict in his nature, that, you know, he would want to take the tablet and fuck off with it, because if it was the Holy Grail, it meant he could go back to Guinevere. Which is why he bombed off. I think that if they had made it some other, some other knight from that era, they would have a harder time. Like, he came with a ready-made issue. You know what I mean?
Well, all of them would any knight from the Round Table would want to take the Grail back to Camelot. Mm-hmm. That was the whole kind of idea, because they all went looking for it. Eventually, it was Lancelot's son was the one who found it.
Galahad? No.
Okay. Maybe, actually, yeah.
Sir not appearing in this film.
I'm blanking on it, and it might very well be Galahad, who's a pompous little shit. But...
you may notice from my quote that all my Arthur knowledge is from Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
That's fine. But yeah, he's the one who found it, and he didn't take it back to Camelot because, you know, he was a little unlike everyone else. But any of the rest of them would have taken it back, so, like, making it really anyone else from the Round Table, it would have worked fine. Mm-hmm. And I would have had less Lancelot issues. Like, make it fucking Sir Kay.
You would have had to explain who Sir Kay was. I know that from Sword in the Stone.
Yeah, that's Sir Kay. Uh-huh. Yeah, no, Arthur's adoptive brother, that's Sir Kay. Mm-hmm. Sir Kay, that would have been... He's a prick, it would have worked perfectly.
Which is fine for me, but, like, for children's, they may not have seen the Sword in the Stone.
Well...
Or any of the other things.
Well, for little children, they probably don't know who the fuck Lancelot is.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
And then they should know who fucking Sir Kay is.
Lancelot aside...
It's our shitty education system.
That's the problem. You should watch more movies.
Exactly.
So Lancelot goes crazy and steals the tablet. Meanwhile, they find Achman-Ra's parents, and it turns out the whole problem is that it's not getting enough sunlight on it. Moonlight, excuse me. And so the tablet's been in a bag for the entire time they've been running around trying to figure out what's wrong with it. So they finally track Galahad down, but it's the moon, like, outside, but the moonlight's not going into it because all the tic-tac-toe bits are twisty. And they have, like, this kind of truly moving moment where all of his little...
The monkey dies.
All of his little wax figure friends are, like, slowly freezing, and, like, Jedediah and Octavius are, like, lying on the ground, like, oh, hold your head now, buddy. Oh, okay.
As a 30-year-old man, knowing full well that this is all going to be fine in, like, 2 more minutes, watching this monkey die, 30-year-old man, just going... Oh, not the monkey.
I was really like this.
Yeah, Sarah was horrified.
I was horrified. Well, because, like, it's been said many times in many ways, it is terrible, terrible, terrible ordeal to work with the monkey. That being said, this monkey is a fuck of an actor. Because he's curled up on his side, and he keeps glancing off screen, so you know he's confused, but, like, little motions, like reaching out and grabbing Ben Stiller's hand, and then slowly going still, and this hand slowly going limp. It's like, oh my god, that monkey just died.
Yeah. But yeah, and then of course, Lancelot comes to his senses, realizes, oh, it's not about this, it's about them, and hands it over, and then the moon comes out of the clouds, right on cue, fucking lights it up, everybody's fine. And
Oh, spoiler alert.
yeah, fuck it. But right then is when the movie starts getting really unsatisfying for me.
Yeah, they had kind
Like,
of like a weird Ewok dance scene.
It had a really pretty solid movie, and then the ending was just a fucking downer.
Well, because like these characters have been brought to life night after night after night for going on 50 years now, and so yeah, it stands to reason they wouldn't want to do that for eternity. But see, now it's bugging me because it's just finding my whole face. But they
The
decide
last one
that
got your face and your chest.
it's my second face.
Yes.
My eyes are up here and also down here. So they decide that Achman Ra needs to stay in London with his parents, and they all need to go back to New York and be statues forever. And everyone's just kind of okay with that.
Including Ben Stiller, and the part for me is just like, alright, that's cool, man, but like this dude just went through all this shit to make sure that you guys didn't have to be statues. Like all this shit for 3 movies, making sure you didn't have to just be statues. Sold a multi-million-dollar business that he owned so he could come be the night guard at the museum and hang out with you. Like, your decision just, if nothing else, it was very sweet for the fucking dead Egyptian kid. Completely fucked Ben Stiller's life up.
Mm-hmm. Well, plus, like...
Just destroys his life and...
Well, yeah, he stops being a night guard and, like, starts being a teacher, so I'm sure he picked up the pieces, but I feel that was a decision made less for us and more for the overall theme of the movie, which is, it's the most important thing is getting kids interested in history, and if you're only doing that as a statue, then you do it as a statue. But they didn't fucking have to do it as a statue, because this tablet brings them to life every night.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's very, very sweet to let everybody else have the chance, but, like, the dude that's been, like, fucking fighting for him for, like, in these movies, 10 plus years, they're just like, fuck your life. And so they go back to New York, they say all their goodbyes, that are, for the most part, actually pretty sweet and touching, and then he goes outside and his shitbag kid is like, you cool? Yeah? Awesome. I think I'm gonna be a DJ again. I'm really serious about that. Like, I know you just said, like, goodbye to the last time to all your friends and these people that you've been through fucking hell for, but yeah, I'm gonna be a little shitbag on some island off of Spain. How you feeling, Pop? Good? Good? Cool. Bye.
That did not occur to me, and yes, I do agree. So the son is a bit of a shit, but I think it's mostly just that he was stupid.
Yeah,
and that they were trying to wrap the movie up.
Yeah.
But it did have sort of a happy ending, because that Australian broad from... No. She's
British.
That British broad, is she from the Pitch Perfect movies?
Yes.
Yes, I got the one right. I'm sure you saw her in the preview. She's talking about like the gun with a silencer and the ninja swords. She's like the night guard at the British Museum, and she ends up getting let in on the secret because since they're leaving the tablet at the British Museum, she's going to be the new night watchman. And so at the very, very end, they're taking the Egyptian stuff on tour, and so she brings the tablet back to the museum, and there's a dance party in which she gets reunited with her Neanderthal lover.
Also played by Ben Stiller.
Yes, I wasn't much for those gags, but I understood the impetus.
Yeah, it was unnecessary, but fuck it, why not?
And then it shows, like, the last shot, it shows Ben Stiller walking by the outside of the museum, sees the dance party, and goes... And then just keeps walking.
Yeah, and it's just like...
Why wouldn't you go inside and say hello?
Yeah! Honestly, it's just kind of like... Yes, your life has moved on, that's great and all, but... Like, you might never get to talk to these cats again. Just pop in.
Plus, we had to watch like the Robin Williams sad goodbye scene.
Yeah, at one point in the movie, I thought Robin Williams had died, and I was like, oh shit, I'm amazed they didn't cut that. But he didn't die.
Yeah. But at the end, he's talking, about, it's okay that he's leaving. And, smile, son. Here comes the sunrise. God damn it.
Yeah. No, but, for every issue I had with the movie, I still think it's very watchable, very fun. There's a few things in it that were really cool. Honestly,
when they brought that big ivory room to life with all the bronze statues and those two big colorful elephants.
Oh, yeah.
That was gorgeous.
My absolute favorite scene in the movie was, and I do have one problem with it still.
Okay.
But it was obviously left that way for the kids, so I can let it go. There was a fucking fight scene in an Escher print.
That was really cool. I didn't much care for the way that they portrayed the dudes. I thought that they were kind of a little woodblocky for me. Well, they looked less like an aspect of the print that they were in and more like money men. Does that make sense?
It does, but I thought it was cool because that's the way those guys look in that particular print.
Okay.
It was it's the staircases one. But there's a fight scene in that, and it's, they're doing the fucking Inception shit where they're changing perspective and stuff, and it's really cool. And they added, because like in the second movie, when he goes in the 1940s photo, it all goes black and white. Mm-hmm. And when they went into the Escher print, they all had like a wood print lines and stuff on them, mm-hmm. which was really cool. But for some reason, the three people in the fight were still in color.
Uh-huh.
Which it's like, why didn't they turn black and white? This would be like the most badass, like there would be an internet clip in like a half second with "Take on Me" playing over it. It'd be fantastic. Like, I thought that was a really cool, nifty fight scene, and just kind of cool. Like, I'm an art kid. I love Escher. Mm-hmm. Fucking brilliant draftsman. But yeah, and the monkey's fucking adorable, and Steve Coogan and Owen Wilson fucking kill it in every scene they're in. Mm-hmm.
Just like the way they deliver their lines too, because there's one scene where they're just on a miniature trying to figure out where the hell they are, and they can read the signpost, but it's upside down, so they're not getting it right. And then they see the reflection in the glass thing over here, and they're like, "Oh, Pompeii," just not interested, not startled, just, "Oh, that's what it is." Crap, 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 crap.
Yeah. And then, Pompeii, of course, explodes, and they're backing up, and that part's in the trailers, and then, the monkey pees on them. Which... it was funnier than I expected it to be. It was actually funnier in the movie than I expected it to be after seeing it in the trailers like 80 million times in the past few months, because it's just like, oh, monkey peeing. But the best part of that whole scene, and the part that let the monkey peeing on them joke work for me, was there... the monkey comes through the fucking smoke and fire over this little town like fucking Godzilla, and it has those right beats, and comes out of the cloud and just smiles. And it's just like, oh, happy monster.
I thought what made that scene work for me was that after the monkey peed Pompeii out, they walked over because Ben Stiller had tied his phone to the monkey's waist, so when he found the little guys, they could let them know that they're alright. So what they did is they had the monkey turn around and they took a selfie.
Yeah.
It made me giggle.
I did not expect to enjoy this movie at all, and I found it...
They laughed.
Really tolerable, actually. Yeah, very oddly, pleasantly surprised by this.
They laughed when I called dibs, and Annie is getting 19% on Rotten Tomatoes. It would almost be worth it to wait for that movie to come out just so I could stand by the door our movie was awesome.
We haven't had an "our movie was awesome" in a while. Maybe we should.
He'll be on Brian.
Oh man, yeah, and Jake too. I think, right?
Yeah.
We could write him a note in the car.
Just leave it in the car.
On the dash.
Our movie was awesome. Two little smiley faces, But yeah, if you're the kind of person who can watch a movie unironically, that monkey is fucking adorable, then I think this is the movie for you.
Yeah.
I might recommend watching the first one. Second one, you could probably give a miss.
You read the Wikipedia article.
Yeah, just because like there is a lot of references to the first two movies in this one that I perhaps wouldn't have gotten if I hadn't just rewatched them.
Yeah. And the second one is not good as it is. It has moments. It's fucking twofer from 30 Rock and
Craig Robinson.
Craig Robinson.
As Tuskegee Airmen.
Yeah.
Just walking
Like,
and he's
they're fun.
narrating. The Tuskegee Airmen are on the move. You don't have to narrate everything we do, man. We can just live in the moment. The Tuskegee Airmen are living in the moment.
Yeah, no, it has little moments, but...
And Tom Lennon and Ben Grant actually cameo in that one.
Yes, as the...
Befuddled Airmen. Were they the Wright brothers?
They're the Wright brothers.
That makes so much sense. I thought they were just some random dudes in the audience, like, a woman flying, preposterous.
Yeah, they were the Wright brothers.
Okay.
And Clint Howard.
Yes. And they actually said in the commentary track on the first one that they were supposed to cameo as Lewis and Clark, but they ended up having a schedule problem, but they were glad because that's actually how I learned the term MOS, because they said it would have all been MOS shots, which are no fun at all.
Yeah. But, yeah, if you got time to kill, you got a kid, this is more than... You know, there are, out in theaters right now, there are much better things to see, to spend your money on.
Oh, yeah.
There are much worse things to see, to spend your money on, but if you got a kid and you got to take him to the movie, like, honestly, this isn't anything to dread. It's somewhat enjoyable, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And especially if you have, like, you know, any weird, like, passing knowledge or familiarity with, like, weird pieces of artwork or little pieces of history, just kind of seeing things in the background and stuff like that is fun. Like, my favorite part of the whole second movie was in the background in one shot there's a Liechtenstein print.
The crying lady?
Yeah.
And she was laughing at them at one point because they fell down.
Yeah, exactly. To me, that was my favorite part of the second movie. It was just like, it wasn't even a gag. It was in the fucking background.
Uh-huh.
But, yeah, no, they're fucking, why not?
Shall
More
we
than
do-
passable.
Shall we do previews?
Yeah, I've seen most of these.
Yeah. We got Paddington, which is apparently really, really good.
Yeah.
I'm still skeptical.
The
but
reviews are amazing, and Brad was telling me he talked to Filmbrain about it, and Filmbrain's like, yeah, don't judge it till you go. So...
It's an adorable movie, so I might get
it's-
sent, but I think that...
It's one of the highest rated movies of the year on
I really
fucking Rotten
died watch
Tomatoes.
it on my own Steam just by sheer fact of that goddamn earwax scene.
Yeah.
It makes me gag every time.
I know it does, baby.
Puts it in his mouth.
I know.
Okay, we got Little Boy,
Oh,
which I was surprised I got that one, because this wasn't like a Christian movie by any stretch of the imagination.
I think they're not. I think that's one of those movies that is like a Christian movie, but they're trying to not market it as a Christian movie because it's got enough decent actors in it that they don't have to market it that way. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh yeah, we got Michael Rappaport and Tom Wilkinson. Well, just fucking market it as a movie. But that trailer just is so fucking bad. And I know I'm going to have to go because it's obviously a Christian movie, but at least when I go, I'll get the benefit of Brad going, 2 for Little Boy.
Little boy dreaming of being a big boy.
Yeah, Brad and I talked about that one at length like 2 weeks ago.
And we got Inside Out, which is that Pixar one where they like it's all the emotions inside their brain. I think that looks really cute.
It does. I already have a weird gripe about it, and I'm sure the movie's going to be good enough that I'm not going to care.
That's so great.
And I'm sure it could easily be explained because I mean this is it's a teaser trailer, really. It's just a quick scene, but and it's all the little emotions living in people's heads, controlling things, and the mom's emotions are all kind of like the mom, and the dad's emotions are all kind of like the dad, and the girl's emotions are all different. Why aren't they all like the girl?
I'm not sure. If I were to spitball right this second, I'd say it's because she's like a preteen, so her emotions are kind of at the whim of her hormones.
And I mean, that's a reasonable answer, but, you know, it's just the thing that struck me.
Yeah. Well, the little scene in the preview made me laugh, and that's all I'm looking for right now. I still don't understand who is what. I mean, I think the red squaredy one is anger. The green one is disgust, I think.
I believe envy.
Envy. Okay.
Yeah, because they all have character posters that I've seen online. The red one is anger, and that's Lewis Black, which is great casting.
Yes.
I believe the green one's envy. The blue one is sadness. The purple one, I think, is nervousness or something like that. I can't remember.
So I know one of them's happiness. I think it's not the green one. Which one? One of them's happiness, and it's Amy. Parks and Rec.
Oh,
Amy Poehler.
No. Was there a purple one? I don't know.
Maybe? Anyway, Seventh Son, which looks so colossally boring considering all the, like, dragons and shit that were flying across the screen.
Considering we've been getting previews for that movie for 3 fucking years.
This is the first I've seen of it. Although
I guarantee you've gotten
so goddamn boring. I probably won't remember it in a week.
I guarantee you've gotten that trailer before, because that movie it was supposed to be released this year. It was supposed to be released last year. It's supposed to be like, that movie's been like, they've reworked and reset that movie on the shelf a lot. That movie, I think, was originally scheduled to come out in like 2012 or 2011.
Is it based on a book?
I believe it might be.
I think I've read a book called Seventh Son, but I don't know if it's the same book.
I don't know. But yeah, I guess that's finally coming out. Maybe.
There's so many good
Maybe Sony will cancel
fantasy
it,
science
too.
fiction books that they aren't making movies of, and they're making this bullshit.
Yeah, well.
Paul Blart 2. I never saw the first Paul Blart.
I'm not fucking
So I don't know if it was any good.
But
I saw Observe and Report, which is sort of the same.
No, it's not. Observe and Report is a good movie. Like, yeah, I can completely understand why people would not like it, but I really liked Observe and Report.
I probably would have liked Observe and Report more if I had understood what I was getting into, because I thought I was getting into Paul Blart Mall Cop.
Oh, you thought you were getting like a Seth Rogen comedy?
Yes.
And then you got Observe and Report,
And
which
then
is not a Seth Rogen
that
comedy.
didn't make me tear up. That movie made me sob hysterically. When he finally breaks down and attacks the guy over the counter. Like, Home, which looks really cute. I mean, I know that people don't like that guy. Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory.
Home?
Yeah, there's the one like the little ooh guy.
The animated one.
Yeah.
I think that looks passably cute, but it also looks passably dumb. I don't think the trailer sways me either way. It's got moments in it that are like, oh, that's adorable, and then it's just like, that's really...
It looks kind of Lilo and Stitchy. Which the sort of movie that's made or broken on the comedic timing of it.
Yeah.
So I think I'll have to see it to figure it out.
Like, yeah, and there was one thing in that trailer that was throwing me off until like the last like 30 seconds of the trailer. Was like, oh, the person he's interacting with is an adult. The animation...
And she did look like a 5-year-old.
Yeah, the animation made that character look like a fucking 5-year-old, but that 5-year-old's driving a car, and I'm just like, what the fuck
she was driving
is
a car.
happening?
It's like, well, okay, she's probably at least 16.
Yeah.
And then you were growling the entirety of this preview, the Peanuts movie.
No, it's not called the Peanuts movie. It's called The Peanuts by Schultz. And Charles Schultz would... Oh my... I'm not even a Peanuts fan. I'm not a huge, like, Charlie Brown and his buddies supporter and shit. But that movie looks so fucking awful.
I kind of liked the art style. I thought it kind of looked like... it kind of had a sort of a Wallace and Gromity feel to it.
And that's fine. And I like that kind of animation too.
And I like the fact that like they made the effort of when the characters were in profile, they made the eyeballs as they would have been if they were in a Charles Schultz drawing.
Then why not make it cell animation and actually do it in Charles Schultz's style? And
because then you just get another Peanuts movie.
Great.
I like that they're trying something new.
I think it looks like a horrible fucking abomination.
Okie dokie. I thought it looked cute.
Yeah, no. I already know I don't care for it.
I didn't like that he stuck one of the little Woodstock creatures into the light socket.
That was fucking dark.
That seemed kind of mean, considering that they were just trying to do like a Christmas decoration for him, and he effectively electrocuted one of them.
And then laughed.
Hysterically.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I found it charming.
That looked... Nah, I think that looks terrible. And... It's just... Some things, you know, it's... that is cashing in for the sake of cashing in. There is absolutely no fucking reason to do a Peanuts movie that's cashing in because it's a name brand and someone's like, well, we got the rights to do Peanuts, let's do a Peanuts movie, it'll make some money.
The more I think about it, I think you should watch the second night at the museum because General Custer is pretty funny.
Bill Hader's always funny.
Yes. Okay, so yeah, my final thought is read the first two and then see the third one, but only if your initial reaction to, hey, let's go see Night at the Museum isn't good, because you probably won't like it then.
Honestly, they're passable, like, kids, live-action kids movies. There's nothing offensive about them, there's nothing groundbreaking about them. The second one is not as good as the other two, but so be it.
And they're the kind of movies you don't necessarily have to be paying full attention to.
Yeah, like, honestly, they're... the first one, just watch it on TV if it's on TV. It's just a completely harmless... There's nothing wrong with it, there's nothing great about it. Full of historical inaccuracies, but it's obviously done for the sake of a movie, and they're kids' movies, so... whatever.
You're getting more and more blasé about it.
I really, it's one of those things, like, that was a fine movie, but I'm not gonna, 2 days from now, I'm not gonna give a shit.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's
if they put out a fourth one, I'll probably be a little mad, because it seemed like a really good, like, stopping point.
If this one makes money, they might put out a fourth one.
Man, like, don't do that. They can't...
With the British girl as the star.
Not without Robin Williams, so... I don't know.
They can get an impersonator.
Goodbye!